Hey everybody, welcome to a post-Raw edition of NoDQ&A video right here on youtube.com/NoDQCAW. And as always, NoDQ.com, your source for the very latest in WWE and TNA. Let's get right down to your questions. This is from Dan2007. Hey Aaron, it seems like WWE probably made a smart choice in having Ryback face CM Punk at Hell in the Cell, as it appears Cena is still not 100%. But do you think this match will be good between them? WWE is definitely in a difficult spot right here. John Cena obviously not 100%, and that's why WWE is going with Plan B, CM Punk versus Ryback at Hell in the Cell. This is Ryback's first pay-per-view main event in WWE. So it's definitely a big test for Ryback. Will he be able to perform at a main event level with CM Punk? All we've seen out of Ryback on television is short 2 to 3 minute matches, usually with enhancement talent. Will he be able to go 15-20 minutes in a main event against CM Punk? That remains to be seen. I mentioned in previous videos I was at a WWE live event in Anaheim last week, and he was up against Jinder Mahal, and they actually did about a 10-minute match. And it was okay. There wasn't anything wrong with it. It was a match, but I mean, Ryback did perfectly fine when he had to actually go in there and sell and have a back and forth match to some degree. The big question here is, how will the finish play out? I've gotten a lot of questions here. Somebody asked me, what do you think will be the finish for CM Punk versus Ryback? It's hard to say, and I'm not sure what the right direction to go is. You have CM Punk, who's been WWE champion now for almost an entire year. And on the other hand, you have Ryback, who has a ton of momentum. He's undefeated. Do you end the streak now at Hell in the Cell, or does Ryback end the almost year reign of CM Punk? One idea that I had, have CM Punk lose the WWE title to Ryback at Hell in the Cell, because you want to keep Ryback strong, and I think that the undefeated streak is something special, and they should keep that going. Unfortunately, WWE's backed into a corner because they have the Hell in the Cell pay-per-view, the themed pay-per-view. These guys are in a cell. There's no DQ, no count-out, so WWE has to have a decisive finish here. So I would say have Ryback beat CM Punk, and then at Survivor Series, you can bring John Cena into the mix and do a triple threat match. That way, you can go back to whatever your original plan was, have Ryback lose the title in that match, but you have it so either CM Punk beats John Cena or John Cena beats CM Punk. Therefore, you get the title off Ryback, but you don't have to have him lose by pinfall or submission, and you can keep the undefeated streak going in that sense that he was never pinned or made to submit. I think that that's a good way to go for Survivor Series, but at this point, who knows what direction WWE is planning to go in. It's going to be a very interesting pay-per-view at Hell in the Cell. I'm very curious to see what WWE does to handle this situation. And obviously, it's not something they initially intended. The original plan was obviously Punk versus Cena, but because of Cena's injury, they had to go with their backup plan. So we'll see what happens. This is from Hampalicious. If WWE wants to push new stars, then why are they putting Ryback in a match that he will lose? Especially when they're trying to build up a streak with him. Why not Dolph Ziggler or somebody else? Unfortunately, WWE hasn't built enough guys up to where they can have somebody face CM Punk and it'd be a credible match. I mean, WWE doesn't really have a lot of top-tier talent at this point. And Ryback is the closest thing they have to a breakout superstar. I mean, Dolph Ziggler is getting there, but I guess WWE doesn't feel confident enough in doing CM Punk versus Dolph Ziggler in a Hell in a Cell match, and they're both heels, and it's just not something WWE wants to do. They would rather put a top red-hot babyface in there against CM Punk, and beyond Ryback, they don't really have anybody else. They don't have any top babyfaces. I mean, Sheamus has already got his match at Hell in the Cell with Big Show. Randy Orton's got his thing going on with Alberto Del Rio. All the top baby faces are locked into other feuds. So Ryback's really the only good option they have at this point, and they have the whole undefeated streak gimmick now that they can used to build up the pay-per-view, and it's definitely going to draw in a lot of interest from people. Will the streak end, or will CM Punk's year title reign come to an end? So it definitely has an interesting hook. This is from Big Papa Pazgon. Not sure how to pronounce that name. The WWE, or excuse me, the WCW ECW Invasion storyline has to be my favorite of all time. But I can't help but notice some big names weren't involved, like NWO, Sting, Goldberg, and Triple H. What do you think the landscape of wrestling would look like had they be involved? Well, surely the Invasion storyline would have been more interesting if you had the key players from WCW, like Sting and Goldberg and Hogan and Flair. It was watered down a bit when you didn't have those guys, because going into the Invasion, fans were talking about all the potential dream matches: Steve Austin versus Goldberg, Sting versus The Undertaker. So many possibilities, so many missed opportunities there. And it would have definitely helped to have had those guys during the Invasion. But if the booking was still going to be the way it was, where the WCW guys were just going to lose to the WWE guys, then it would have most likely gone the same way, regardless of whether it was DDP or Sting doing the job to somebody in WWE. And if Triple H was involved, I've joked about this before, DDP and Booker T probably would have been taking pedigrees and being pinned cleanly in the ring. Yeah, I've talked about this before with the Invasion. The way the WCW ECW Invasion would have been able to reach its full potential would have been if WWE allowed the WCW guys. I mean, WWE owned WCW and ECW, so they could have done it so WCW and ECW initially got the upper hand and were dominant for maybe a year, and then have WWE bounce back and eventually win the war. But instead, WWE just destroyed them within 6 months, and that was the end of it. So I just felt that they really could have gotten a lot more out of it. This is from LDMJR. Aaron, what do you think about Heath Slater, Drew McIntyre, and Jinder Mahal joining forces and calling themselves the 3MB, three-man band? At least it's something for all of them to do. I know a lot of people online are not happy about Drew McIntyre being made into a joke, but I have to say it's better than him not being on television at all, right? And the thing with Jinder Mahal is just funny. I mean, the idea of this guy in a turban trying to be part of a rock band, it's so absurd, but I find it entertaining, and I'm glad that at least something is being done with these three guys, and we'll see where it goes. I mean, it's always good to try new things, and WWE really hasn't had a lot of factions as of late, so it's good for there to be a new faction. And I like the skit with them going into the bar in Nashville and trying to sing on stage, so hopefully we get more types of segments like that, and I think it'll make for entertaining television, at least. This is from AJ Woody 88. What did you think of the promo between Miz and Kofi last night? Do you think it pushed or buried Kofi? I thought it was very interesting because it was essentially WWE admitting that Kofi Kingston hasn't reached his full potential. So I'm not quite sure I would have done that type of promo. I think that usually when a heel cuts a promo on a babyface, he says stuff that's not true. And he lies. That's what heels do. And you know that the heel is full of crap. But everything Miz said about Kofi was essentially true, which that's why it surprised me so much that he would say that stuff. And yeah, it did kind of make Kofi Kingston look bad. But I mean, Kofi did redeem himself later in the night, and I have to say that kick he did on the Miz at the end, that was just absolutely brutal. And they showed like 5 replays of it. So it is what it is, and I just don't know if I would go on television and have a heel just bury the baby face and say stuff that's actually true. You want the Miz to come out there and lie and say stuff that the fans know is BS. But in this case, it was too close to the truth, in my opinion. Not our truth, by the way. This is from Enigma Forever 1996. Hey Aaron, big fan from England. If Jeff Hardy didn't mess up at Victory Road 2011, do you think he would still be heel now? Also, what are the chances of seeing Jeff Hardy in WWE in 2013? Please answer in video. I think eventually he would have gone back to being a babyface. I've talked about this before. The heel turn for Jeff Hardy just didn't work out. Um, the fans just naturally like to cheer for Jeff Hardy. He's an underdog by nature, and him being a heel, when you're a heel, you got to be able to talk and get the heat. And Jeff Hardy's move set consists of high flying moves. The Swanton Bomb and all the flashy moves that people like to cheer for. So it just doesn't make sense for Jeff Hardy's character to be a heel, especially when he's not that strong on the mic and he does all the flashy moves. He's just naturally a guy that you want to cheer for. So I think that eventually he would have just gone back to being a babyface regardless of what happened. And him being in WWE in 2013, clearly he's the TNA champion now, and it's a sign that TNA really wants to keep him pleased, and they want to sign him to a new deal, and that's why he's a champion right now. They want to make him happy, and I think the likelihood at this point is that Jeff Hardy's going to stay with TNA. Otherwise, they wouldn't put the title on him. And he wants to keep doing what he's doing. He's got a light schedule, and he can do other projects on the side. With WWE, he would have to be more committed to working full time. So I think that if he continues to get his big push in TNA, he's going to stick with them, and they're going to pay him the big bucks, and he'll be happy. So there you go. Hey Aaron, do you think the IWC fans are often too hard on Triple H? Yes, he's probably buried a few guys, but right now he's doing some things that the fans have been asking for, like rebuilding the tag team division and pushing for longer title reigns. Fans were definitely hard on Triple H 10 years ago when he was the World Heavyweight Champion and he was beating guys night in and night out. But I've always defended Triple H. I mean, the guy has a lot of talent, and I knew he was something special way before he got with Stephanie. So I think that whole that excuse that he's only a top superstar because of Stephanie, I don't buy that at all. I think that Triple H earned his stripes. He was just taking tremendous punishment and embarrassing himself. I mean, he was in hog pen matches with Henry Godwinn. And even that was the first time I really saw something in Triple H, actually. The hog pen match, I think it was December 1995 at In Your House. I just thought that it showed to me that this guy really has the desire to make it in the business, and he's willing to do stuff like take a back body drop into pig manure. I just thought that was really impressive when he was willing to take that kind of punishment and embarrassment on national television on pay-per-view. And he continued to push himself, and he had the drive. So I think that Triple H deserves the recognition, and he deserves the push that he's gotten over the years. Now he's starting to transition into the backstage role, and I think that he does listen to the fans, and I'm sure that he's going to continue listening and trying to do what fans want to see in WWE, and pushing the tag division more, and having longer title reigns. He's an old school guy. I think that he knows what to do. I think he knows what he's doing. All right, that'll wrap it up for this edition of No DQ&A video. Thanks as always for watching. Make sure you subscribe, youtube.com/NoDQ&AW. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think about the video. And stay tuned for more No DQ&A video. And stay tuned to NoDQ.com for the very latest in WWE and TNA.